Good morning, everyone. 8:15. Here we are. It is Extra Shot. We have a couple of guests with us today. Michelle Apon is back. Dina Kupfer is out in Solano County. She is in a CAL FIRE briefing right now, tracking everything wildfire season. We will be with her at 9 o'clock, so be on the lookout there. Marcus
Are we considered guests? Because like when kids come home from college, are they technically the guests?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
you don't live there anymore.
All right.
No, you're a guest, but you're like one of those live-in guests.
And you got to sleep on a twin bed. The kids have to sleep on a twin bed.
Yeah,
so
my mom completely redid the room that used to be mine, and it's now her guest bedroom. So when I come over, I stay in the guest bedroom.
I feel bad. Should I have brought like snacks, or should I have brought something? Because
Yes.
it's rude to come over as a guest without bringing something.
You should have brought your hair back.
Evidently.
What happened? There was a poll on Instagram that we have conducted, and 100% of the participants agreed agree with us that you should have kept the beard. But it's okay. Change is good.
It got itchy. I'll bring it back.
Okay, you're bringing it back.
Itchy.
We'll look forward to that. Ooh, itchy. It's true. My husband Caesar has his, and when he tries to come in for the kiss, sometimes that's what I'm like, no, it itches.
Oh, you don't? It's too much?
That's when you need to Drake it. But
what's the Drake beard?
Drake
Oh, faded in on the side.
Faded in.
A soft
so
fade on the side.
It's so tight.
I like
to
the
the
beard.
skin.
I like beards.
Anyway.
I like beards.
I'll bring it back.
No one's kissing you here at the studio.
Marcus
We're fine.
like, so we gonna kiss in the mouth or nah? If I bring the beard back, are we gonna kiss in the mouth or not?
All right, everyone. We digress.
I'm sure
and
it's
Mark
gonna come up in a
here to talk about movies, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's get a quick update on the weather that's happening today, what is happening, the air quality, and also those wildfires. I want to get through the list here. We know that 1,500 homes have been destroyed. Also, buildings at this point, structures, 20,000 people, probably north of that by now, have been asked to evacuate. They're at evac centers right now. That's where we find Dina Kupfer. We're going to find her there at the 9 o'clock hour. Also, hospitals have been forced to evacuate. 73,000 acres have burned so far, and again, I'm saying north of that because these are all numbers that are very fluid right now. As these fires continue to rage here in Northern California, these numbers are going to go up. We know the death toll sits at 11 people dead this morning. It was 10 when I went to bed last night, 11 when I woke up this morning. Just so sad to see all of these flames that we're looking at, and then the people who have been displaced from their homes and they can only grab a couple of things, if anything. The livestock that is in danger this morning, someone on my Facebook page said, right now in Santa Rosa, there are horses, 54 horses that need somewhere to go, and they need to get out of there. And so they're looking for some help, those people who have the livestock. So again, we're doing everything we can from here. We're in Sacramento right now to try to do that. Cascade Fire right now, it has burned, I'm trying to get the numbers here, 11,500, no. I don't want to get you guys wrong on this. Let me start with the McCourtney Fire. It has burned 72 acres, 60% contained. The Canyon Fire, 2, which is down south in Anaheim, 7,500 acres burned, only 5% contained this morning. And Michelle, go ahead and chime in whenever you want to talk about the air quality here. The Tubbs Fire, 27,000 acres have burned so far, and then the Atlas Fire, 25,000 acres burned so far. A lot of acreage that we're throwing at you in numbers, but let's go ahead and talk about the air quality.
So one thing that people are excited about is that the winds have died down. So that's great for the firefight. Unfortunately, with the smoke all in the air and the calmer winds, it has caused for a lot of that smoke to stay in place. So I want to show you what the air quality looks like. So take a look at that. You can see across Sacramento and the rest of the valley, not too bad, but the farther off the west we go, especially across Napa and Sonoma counties, you can see that it's very poor air quality. So a lot of that smoke is on the bad side. So here's a better look. You can see that big bullseye you see there on your screen. That's basically most of wine country dealing with very bad smoke conditions. So I bring up this graphic. I don't really show it on air, but since we're talking about air quality, you can see the different ranges. And I never ever get to see the darker colors like red or even purple, but we're talking about that, especially for areas across those regions who are dealing with the really big fires. So the air quality is going to be very bad. I know a lot of these people do need, who have either taken shelter somewhere else, they do need those air masks because they're going to be seeing a lot of the smoke just by looking at it, but they're also going to be breathing it in. So if you know anyone in those fire devastated areas, make sure you tell them to take precaution, because this is a very big deal, and we won't see relief from any of the smoke until tomorrow when the winds will start to pick up. So look at the winds. The winds are light right now, so that's not helping with the air quality.
Right.
So it's just going to be thicker in a lot of those valley locations, and sometimes in valley locations a lot of the air gets trapped because it has nowhere to go.
Right.
Because you have mountains on both sides, and it really has no way of relieving
stuck.
itself.
It's stagnant.
Yeah, it's stagnant.
Last night when I was doing some research about all of these different wineries that have been going up in flames over the past 24 hours, and then the smoke, you know, you start to think about the effects of the smoke on the grapes and the grape crop,
sure.
right? And that smoke seeping into the grapes, and then how does that change the taste? How does that change the product? How does that change the amount of people who are going to come to the wineries this season, if any? If it's just sad to think.
It could destroy that entire crop.
Yeah, it can destroy what Sonoma and Napa, you know, mean to all of us, not just in NorCal, but around the world. I have
and we're just talking about
friends who are coming
the fire and the
visit.
smoke. There's also peripheral damage and things that are taking place from the ripple of all this. There are power outages in St.
Right.
Helena. We had Marcus on a couple weeks ago, the guy that wrote the book on Napa Valley.
Yeah.
I was trying to
that's
reach him to
right.
find out if everything was okay.
How's he doing?
Didn't hear back for 24 hours, and he said, no, we're just without power. I haven't been able to charge my phone.
Oh man.
Don't think about all of
So
that.
can I have them look at this
Absolutely,
real quick? So
yeah.
this is one of the wineries. This is Paradise Ridge Winery, and look at these photos. Okay, so this is their winery. This is their vineyard. This is their grounds.
left
You can
of
see
it?
Gone.
This is posted on their Facebook page. So luckily, a lot of them are safe, which is good. But look at the devastation that they've had to deal with. Look at that smoke completely covering a lot of these vineyards, especially across the valley. But look at that. That is just one of those images where you're not going to get out of your head, because they're going to be it's going to take a long time for a lot of Santa Rosa, a lot of these wine country areas to just you know,
to get back on their feet.
Yes, absolutely.
We talked about Santa Rosa yesterday when we had the doctor here, Dr. Hempstead from Kaiser Permanente,
Right.
and the Kaiser in Santa Rosa yesterday had to be evacuated. I also want to talk about in SF Gate, so they had mentioned that last year Napa and Sonoma saw 3.5 million visitors, generating $80.3 million in tax revenues. The annual tourism spending $1.93 billion. So when you think about those numbers and how they will be affected this year, it really is just devastating, and this is the busiest time of year for the hospitality season. You've been in town for a long time, Mark. When you talk about October, November, December, the end of the year, and you think of Napa, Sonoma, you think of the greater NorCal region and all of the things that you can do here. How does it affect or impact your life?
Well, the timing couldn't be worse for this industry, because specifically harvest, that is a huge deal for Napa. And so many people, so many events are all geared around the harvest.
You go to so many events out there, yeah.
Right, and so for this not only puts a damper on them, but also just the devastating loss of some of these vineyards that the people would be going to.
I heard on Good Morning America this morning, and we're getting confirmation this is one of the most intense fire seasons that that our state has ever gone through, if you date it back to history. So what is going on in the world is the big question, right? We seem to be stuck in this rut right now, and I hope that we can get out of it sooner than later. You're here to help us get out of that a bit by talking about movies.
And real quick, let's get to some comments though, because we have a lot of people chiming in.
Exactly.
Good morning, everybody. We had some
morning.
sound issues at the top of the show, but hopefully everything is taken care of. You guys can hear us.
Welcome.
If not, say something. You can read my lips and then just say
We'll
something.
mime it.
Well, good morning, Janet Piper. My heart goes out to all affected by these horrific fires. Kimberly Morgan. I couldn't sleep with my window open last night because I could just smell it. And talking about the smoke. And then David Wong was chiming in. Good morning. He was helpful, trying to help everybody with the sound, giving quick fixes and tips. Douglas Sterling, so terrible. And everybody is asking, and one in particular, what is the hotline for the missing persons located in Santa Rosa? And then Dickerson Mitzi chimed in with that number for the public information line. So everybody's being helpful this morning. Everybody's kind of on the same page, just wanting people to be in the know and to be taken care of and to stay safe. So keep chiming in. We'll keep reading you guys' comments.
And Constance, yes, you had mentioned that missing persons hotline. We'll look into that and we'll get that up ASAP. But I did see that Dickerson Mitzi. Did you just say this public information line for Santa Rosa?
Yeah, she just chimed.
Okay.
Yeah, she just chimed in with the number.
Okay. When Kimberly says I'm ready for 2017 to be over, I think we could.
Yeah, it's been
I
rough.
agree with that.
The sad thing about it, having lived here all these years, you come to expect this. This time of year, there are always going to be some wildfires, and we're almost, I hate to say jaded, but then when you see the level.
Yeah,
that
this
it
is
gets,
a live look right now. This is a plane dropping that, the flame retardant. Yeah, the fire retardant there. Do we know exact location of this, Producer Billy? It's just, okay, this is the Napa fire, one of the fires in Napa. Wow. And you think of, when I look at that, I think, wow, what can a plane like that really do when you look at the entire region? But they're doing the best they can. Shout out to the firefighters from different parts of the country, not just our state, coming and trying to help out in these fires that are happening here, not only in Northern California, but in Southern California as well. So firefighters, you were at a firehouse this morning in Sacramento. What was the vibe?
Yeah, the wild thing about it is that we had planned on doing this, you know, several days out, and then lo and behold, we're at a fire station on a day that some of the most devastating wildfires in Northern California are taking place. And we were at Station 56, and you think, well, that's a structure fire station. They're going out to enter buildings and residences. What does that have to do with wildfires? Well, many of our stations, like Station 56, also have an engine that they keep on reserve. The dump just took place.
Okay, and then Angel Kid Alexis commented and said, 12 acres of fenced property open and available. She was saying this is for horses and any other animals that may be affected by this. So there is a space, and she left the information in the comment section. Again, this is from Alexis, Angel Kid Alexis, who is talking about relief for animals in regards to places where they can go. So keep being helpful, guys. Keep chiming in. If you guys have additional information, let us know. Leave it in the comments, and we'll chime in with that.
Yes, thank you everyone for chiming in. Wow, look at the destruction on this one house. You see all the houses surrounding it. This unlucky homeowner, right?
Oh, amazing that it skipped too.
It skipped. Yeah. Wow, that is so devastating this morning to think everything just gone.
That looks like that might be Interstate 80. No, it says East Santa Ana Canyon Road.
Okay. And this live video that we're getting right now is courtesy of our friends, KGO, which is in the Bay Area.
Those two right there, look.
Those two houses just gone. And a lot of times, you know, the embers from the flames fly over to these homes, and it's just which houses are going to land on, which flames are going to spark up. Fortunately, the houses next to these two homes, they don't look like they were affected, but a good thing, if this camera, when it pulls out, you'll see how that smoke, when it starts to lighten up, right, Michelle? Again, you can help me in describing this. That does mean when you see the gray and the white that the flames have extinguished, but now we're looking at the smoke.
And it's going to completely just blanket the whole area because the winds are so light.
That one completely gone. Right there in the corner.
I almost didn't even think there was a house there because there isn't any.
No, there's two of them right there that are gone.
Oh, yeah, there's two. The shell, you can just see it.
And then by some miracle, the house next to it still standing.
Still standing.
Wow. Okay. Our hearts are with everyone out there. And the firefighters, you see them working hard to put out these flames, which it looks like they have at this point. But what's left? Nothing, which is so sad. Okay. Mark, you were at the firehouse. You described a little bit about what the vibe was like there.
So yeah, we had set up, there's a movie coming out that honors the Granite Mountain firefighters in Arizona and who put out fires exactly like this. And sadly, several years ago, this entire platoon was lost with the exception of one sole survivor. This is their story. And we had planned on honoring some local firefighters with a breakfast this morning and to treat them to a screening of the movie. And then lo and behold, on the day that we're there, less than 24 hours before we enter to give them this breakfast, one of their rig was borrowed by the Department of Emergency Services to go to the Cascade fires.
What are the chances
Only
of that?
Yesterday. So yeah, it hits dear to their hearts. This movie, by the way, is remarkable. Maybe the timing is all too eerie for you, but if you really want to see a dramatization of what they're actually doing out there, I highly recommend it. Only the Brave.
The Granite Mountain Hot Shots you were talking about, those were the firefighters that became the most elite team in the country in its time. And even when you look back, right, I mean, I was learning a bit about the story. This happened back in 2013?
2013, and it was the very first municipally run hot shot squad.
Wow.
And the entire team, with the exception of one, their spotter, perished. And this is his story.
And you're going to get more into that next week because the film does come out next Friday, correct?
Right, with some heavy hitters. Miles Teller does a tremendous job. He's playing the guy that does survive. Jeff Bridges is in it, brilliant.
Oh, wow. All-star cast.